Hi everyone, Pat here from ulearnoffice.com with another video, this time on absolute and relative referencing, but also on VLOOKUP and how to use it. So here's the example I've been using on the last demonstration videos, and this time I'm still using the same salesperson, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and this is their sales for the last couple of months. And in this time I want to use the VLOOKUP function so I can find the commission for every single salesperson for the 3 months mentioned here. So before even I start using VLOOKUP, I need to create a table with all the references I'll need, and this is what I have from cell A4 to B7. What this table means is the sales from 0 to 100,000 will have a commission of 0%. You need absolutely 100,000 to make any money in this case. Yes, it's rough, but that's the rules. Now, as soon as you make $100,000 in sales, you're getting commission of 5%. As soon as you bump up to 150,000, you're getting commission of 10%. And as soon as you're 200,000 and over, you're getting a commission of 15%. What Excel will do is it will use this table to determine the commission that's needed. But what Excel will do with VLOOKUP function actually is read the content of the first column. And that's the most important column you're going to use. That's where you're going to compare the values that are somewhere in your model to your table that's right here in this case. And what's very, very important, these values in this column must always be in ascending order. It means from the lowest to the highest, always. And as soon as you come to a different situation, you change rows. So as soon as you're at 100,000, not 99, not 101, as soon as you're at 100, you're changing rows. And as soon as you're 150 in this case, you're changing rows again and again at 200,000. So that's very important. Always put the values of the first column in ascending order or from the smallest to the highest. Times you need many columns. But in this case, all I need to know is, according to the sales I'm doing, what is the commission or the percentage I'm going to give to the salesperson. That's the only thing here. So that's my reference table, and it must be created even before I use VLOOKUP. If I don't have that table, I can't use VLOOKUP. And why is it called VLOOKUP? Because I'm reading this table vertically, from top to bottom, instead of from left to right. If you want to make a table that can be read from left to right, you can. But you're going to need the HLOOKUP function instead of VLOOKUP. That's the only difference. So let's get to it and make our formula in B16. I'm going to start equal V. There's a couple of functions that works with V. So as soon as you place L, there's only one function that starts with a V and an L. It's a VLOOKUP, so I'm going to press the Tab key right next to the Q key on the first row. There you go, VLOOKUP. Here's what I'm going to need. First, the lookup value. What am I going to compare it to? The table that I just prepared. So in this case, I want to know what's the commission if I'm making 100,000. So this is the value I'm going to compare to my table that's up here. In my case, I'm going to use the semicolon to separate my arguments with the parameters that Excel needs. Maybe in your case, the argument separator is a comma. Mostly could be. Don't worry if the semicolon is not working. Change it to a comma and it should work for your function. Now, the second value I need to determine is where is the table I'm going to use. In this case, it's from A4 to B7, where I have the value I'm going to compare. This is a value. I'm going to compare it to the content of the first column. And it's going to enable me to determine the commission. So that's for the second. I'm going to use again a semicolon. In your case, it could be a comma that will separate the arguments or the parameters that the function needs. Now, the Third option is the column index number. What it's trying to tell you is the value that I need for the result is in what column. Is it in the first column, second, third, fourth, depending on the size of your table. In this case, I want to determine the commission I'm going to display, and that's in the second column of my table. So I'm just going to press 2, and the result will be either 0, 5, 10, or 15%. To that, I need to multiply it by the content of the sales. So it's going to give me 5% of the sales, 10, 15% of the sales of Peter for January. Now there's one last thing. It's gonna, as is, it's gonna work for Peter, but I want to apply it to every other salesperson and month. So I'm gonna leave it as such for now, but you're gonna see quickly that I need to adapt it to make it work properly. I'm going to use again the fill handle, that's the little box at the bottom right of the active cell. When I do that, the cursor changes from the usual format to a thin black plus sign. And I'm going to press the left mouse button, go down, release the mouse button, and look what it's giving me. 5,000, that's perfect. 15 in this case for Paul. Yeah, 150,000 would give you 10% or 15,000. And for Mary, 30,000 is perfect because that's 15% over 200,000. Works fine like this. Now I'm going to copy it through the right now. The same formula, but then, oh boy, what happened? Well, that's what happened. Let's go see cell C16. I'm going to press F2 so you can see what happens. First, it's going to select C10. That's perfect because it's for the next month for the same person. So Excel relative referencing just says, look, from the position of my formula, you're going to look up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells up. And that's the same thing I have here. On the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's what the C10 represents to Excel. It's not the cell. It's from where the formula is located. It's going to look up X cells up, down, left, or right, relative to the location of the formula I'm writing right now. So that's fine. So, but what happens here? Because I've moved the formula to the right, all the referencing here is now wrong because I forgot the first column and the second column is all zeros. So this is not working. This needs to be fixed. And C10, well, that's fine. So my problem is right now the table is not fixed. As soon as I move to the right or down, it's going to give me problems. So this is one example. Let's go see the last formula here. I press F2 again. Look how off it is. It's off 2 rows and it's off 2 columns. So that's not good. I need to fix the position, the referencing for the table and fix it horizontally and vertically because I'm copying it not only left to right but also up and down. So let's go back to our original formula, which is in B16. And I need to fix this, the referencing for the table here. And I enter as $sign in front of the A, in front of the 4, and also in front of the B, and in front of the 7. So it would give me $A, $4, $2, $B, $7. I would fix the referencing for the table and it wouldn't move afterwards. And that's what I need to do. So I can do it either manually or press the F4 button here. And you see it can cycle through all the possibilities. I'm still pressing F4. This way it's completely relative. If I move up and down the formula, the number will change. If I move right or left, the letter of the column would change. So I don't want that, either for the column or the row. So I'm going to press F4 until I get $B, $7. Move to A4. And again press F4 until I get $A, $4. And this way, when I'm going to copy the formula, these references will always stay the same. So my formula is corrected. I'm going to press enter to confirm, and I'm going to use the fill handle again. So I'm going to move the fill handle down, release the fill handle, because I can't use the fill handle up and down and left and right at the same time. I can use it either left to right or up and down, but not both at the same time. So I'm doing it in 2 steps. I'm going down, then I'm taking the fill handle again and going right, and release the mouse button. There you go. All the formulas have been copied, and let's just make sure they're right. So here for Peter, it's 5% for 100,000, 5% for 125,000. As soon as he's at 150, he's moving to the 10% bracket, or the third column in my reference table here. For Paul, well, he's been on the 10% bracket, but here he's finally moving to the 15% bracket. So 15% of 200,000, that's 30,000. That's perfect. And Mary has always been in the 15% bracket because of her high sales. So that's it. With VLOOKUP and absolute and relative referencing for the table here, in this case it's they're all absolute, I can get the right function and easily apply it to every other cell in my table here. So I hope you like the VLOOKUP table. There's a lot more you can do with VLOOKUP, and there's going to be a couple of videos on that soon. For now, this is Pat from ulearnoffice.com, and I'll see you later.